Imagine traveling back in time to the 1500s. Spain, rich from discoveries in the New World, is experiencing a cultural and intellectual explosion called the Renaissance. This exciting time changed art, architecture, and how people thought all across Europe. In Spain, the Renaissance mixed with the country's special Moorish history to make a unique style of architecture. From the busy streets of Seville to the sunny plazas of Salamanca, Spain became a showcase for Renaissance artists. Andalusia in southern Spain is a perfect example of this amazing period. Here, among the olive trees and rolling hills, are two towns often forgotten but full of architectural treasures, Úbeda and Baeza. These two Renaissance jewels offer a fascinating look into Spain's golden age. Tucked away among the olive groves of Jaén province, Úbeda and Baeza were once important locations during the Reconquista. When the Christians won in the late 1400s, these towns changed dramatically. Rich nobles, wanting to show off their new power, spent lots of money to make Úbeda and Baeza beautiful. They hired famous architects and artists, who created amazing buildings that still impress us today. These towns became examples of great Renaissance city planning, with wide avenues, elegant squares, and impressive buildings. The spirit of the Renaissance is everywhere in Úbeda and Baeza, from the fancy decorations on their churches to the peaceful courtyards of their palaces. As you get closer to Úbeda, the landscape looks like an old map, its wrinkles showing centuries of history. Olive groves stretch out as far as you can see, their silvery green leaves shining in the Andalusian sun. These old trees, some from Roman times, have seen all the different groups of people who have lived in this land. The road curves through gentle hills, each turn showing a piece of the past. Here, the ruins of a Moorish watchtower stand on a rocky hill, reminding us of the area's exciting past. And then, rising above the olive groves, you see it, Úbeda, a beautiful city of golden stone shining in the late afternoon sun. The town's skyline, a pretty outline of towers, domes and spires, hints at the architectural treasures inside. The huge walls, built by the Moors and later made stronger by the Christians, surround the old town, their honey-colored stones glowing in the fading light. You can't visit Úbeda without seeing the Sacra Capilla del Salvador, the town's most famous building. This magnificent church, built as a grand tomb, shows the wealth, religious beliefs, and artistic dreams of Francisco de los Cobos, Secretary of State to Emperor Charles V. Built in the early 1500s, the Sacra Capilla is an amazing mix of architectural styles. The church's front, covered in detailed carvings, is a masterpiece. Step inside and get ready to be amazed. The inside of the church is beautiful, with stone, light, and color. Sunlight shines through stained glass windows, making colorful patterns on the shiny marble floor. Everything, from the intricately carved choir stalls to the gold altarpiece, shows the skill of the Renaissance craftsmen who worked for decades to create this masterpiece. Unlike the exciting Sacra Capilla, the Palacio de Vela de los Cobos feels elegant and powerful, but not showy. This magnificent palace, built in the mid-1500s for Don Íñigo Fernández de Velasco, Constable of Castile, is a perfect example of Spanish Renaissance architecture. Its simple front, made of warm honey-colored stone, is balanced and symmetrical. Walk through the grand entrance, and you enter a peaceful and elegant world. The palace's inside, with its fancy ceilings, tapestries showing stories from mythology, and antique furniture, shows how the rich Spanish families lived during the Renaissance. Walking through Úbeda is like walking through an architecture book, each building a lesson in Renaissance ideals. The Renaissance, a time of cultural rebirth across Europe, thrived in Spain, mixing with the country's unique Moorish history to create a special style. This style, called plateresque because it looks like fancy silverwork, is known for its detailed decorations, balanced look, and use of classical designs. In Úbeda, the plateresque style was at its best, making the town a showcase of Renaissance grandeur. Look closely at the buildings in Úbeda and you'll see things that show the spirit of the Renaissance. Columns, like those in ancient Greece and Rome, decorate doorways and windows, their tops carved with flowers, funny faces, and even scenes from mythology. These architectural details aren't just decorations, they show the Renaissance ideals of humanism, rationality, and the search for knowledge and beauty. The Renaissance brought back an interest in the classical world, and Úbeda's architecture shows this fascination with ancient Greece and Rome. Architects looked at old ruins for ideas, using classical elements in their designs. For example, the Hospital de Santiago, sometimes called the El Escorial of Andalusia because it's so big and beautiful, looks like this. Its front, with its rows of arches, reminds us of a Roman aqueduct, while its tall columns and pediment look like ancient Greek temples. Look closely at the palaces and churches, and you'll see statues of Roman emperors, Greek gods, and figures representing ideas like justice, prudence, and temperance. Even the decorations like garlands, laurel wreaths, and acanthus leaves come from classical art, reminding us of the lasting influence of antiquity. While the outsides of Úbeda's buildings are grand, the insides show elegance, refinement, and artistry. The palaces, especially, show how the rich families who lived there lived. Imagine walking through a grand entrance into a central courtyard, a peaceful place in the middle of the busy town. From the courtyard, a grand staircase, its railing decorated with carvings, leads to the upper floors, where the family's private rooms were. Imagine entering a large room, its walls covered with frescoes showing scenes from mythology or the Bible, its high ceilings held up by carved beams. These palaces weren't just homes, but also places for social and cultural events, where nobles had big parties, entertained important guests, and supported artists and musicians. If Úbeda is a symphony in golden stone, then Baeza is a quiet poem, its beauty subtle, refined, and timeless. Sitting on a hill overlooking the Guadalquivir Valley, Baeza enjoys the warm Andalusian sun, its honey-colored buildings glowing. As you get closer to this Renaissance gem, the stress of modern life fades away, replaced by peace and wonder. The road winds through rolling hills covered in olive groves, the air smelling of herbs and citrus blossoms. And then, as you turn a corner, Baeza appears, its skyline a graceful outline of towers, domes, and spires rising above the olive groves. Unlike Úbeda, with its big walls and grand palaces, Baeza feels quietly elegant. Its streets, many still paved with old cobblestones, are perfect for a relaxing walk. Get ready to be charmed by Baeza's understated beauty, a testament to the lasting appeal of Renaissance ideals. In the center of Baeza, both geographically and spiritually, is the cathedral, a magnificent building that shows the town's rich history and architectural beauty. This grand church, its impressive front, a mix of Gothic, Renaissance, and Baroque styles, has seen centuries of faith, conquest, and cultural change. Building the cathedral started in the 1200s where a mosque used to be, showing how power shifted in this region. The inside of the cathedral is just as impressive, a tall space filled with soft light. Sunlight shines through stained glass windows, making colorful patterns on the shiny marble floor. Take your time walking through the cathedral's chapels, each one full of art and history. The cathedral may be Baeza's spiritual heart, but the Fuente de Santa Maria, a Renaissance fountain in the town center, is its refreshing soul. This elegant fountain, built in the 1500s, shows the Renaissance's love for the beauty and symbolism of water. Imagine finding this oasis on a hot day, the sound of splashing water drawing you in. The fountain's design is a nice mix of classical and Renaissance elements. A circular pool, its edge decorated with carvings of mythical creatures and flowers, is the main part. From its center rises a tall column, topped by a statue of a Roman god, maybe Neptune, god of the sea, or a beautiful nymph pouring water from a jug. As you watch kids chase pigeons in the sunny square, you'll feel a sense of timelessness, a reminder that some things, like the beauty of a Renaissance fountain, last forever. Even though the Renaissance happened a long time ago, it still feels alive in Úbeda and Baeza. It's not just the perfectly preserved buildings, but a feeling woven into everyday life. Walk through the busy market where people sell olives and pottery, their voices echoing off the honey-colored stone walls. Go into a local cafe smelling the fresh coffee and pastries. Go to a concert in one of the town's historic churches, the air filled with classical music, and feel the presence of Renaissance composers, their melodies lasting through the centuries. The spirit of the Renaissance, a time of intellectual curiosity, artistic innovation, and a love for life, continues to inspire and fascinate. The people of Úbeda and Baeza know how valuable their architectural history is, so they work hard to protect their Renaissance treasures. In 1994, UNESCO put the historic centers of both towns on the World Heritage List, recognizing their importance to the world. This not only made them famous but also encouraged lots of restoration and preservation work. Skilled craftspeople using traditional methods passed down through generations carefully fix crumbling facades, repair intricate carvings, and bring new life to old buildings. Walking through the cobblestone streets, you'll see the signs of this work. Scaffolding around a church tower, the tapping of a stonemason's chisel, the smell of lime mortar. But preservation is about more than just bricks and stone. It's about protecting the traditions, crafts, and stories that make these towns special. Local groups offer classes on traditional crafts like ceramics, weaving, and ironwork, making sure these skills, practiced for centuries, are passed on to future generations. Úbeda and Baeza becoming World Heritage Sites meant not only a duty to preserve, but also a chance to share. Tourism, once small, has grown a lot, bringing economic benefits and a renewed sense of pride. Visitors from all over the world come to these Renaissance gems, excited to walk through their historic streets, admire their beautiful buildings, and experience the special mix of history, culture, and Andalusian charm. Tourism has helped the local economy, creating jobs and supporting traditional businesses. Restaurants serving traditional Andalusian food are popular, their tables filling the cobblestone squares. Boutique hotels, in lovingly restored Renaissance buildings, offer a taste of history and luxury. Local artisans, their workshops filled with the smells of leather, wood, and clay, sell their handcrafted goods. But tourism does more than just help the economy. It has made residents, especially young people, appreciate their town's heritage more. They see their towns not as relics of the past, but as vibrant cultural centers, attracting people from all over the world. Standing near Úbeda's grand palaces, or walking through Baeza's peaceful squares, you can't help but feel amazed by the lasting legacy of the Renaissance. These towns, often missed by tourists, offer a glimpse into an important time in European history, a time of intellectual excitement, artistic innovation, and big ambition. The Renaissance may be over, but its spirit lives on in the perfectly preserved architecture, the vibrant cultural scene, and the friendly people. Úbeda and Baeza remind us that history isn't just in textbooks or museums, it's alive and shapes our world in many ways. When you eat in a restaurant in a former palace or listen to music in a centuries-old church, you're experiencing the connections between past and present. These towns show the power of human creativity and the lasting appeal of beauty. They encourage us to slow down, appreciate the good things in life, and connect with the rich history around us. So, as you leave Úbeda and Baeza, the setting sun making long shadows across their honey-colored stone, take the spirit of the Renaissance with you. Let it inspire you to find beauty in unexpected places, appreciate history, and approach the world with curiosity and wonder. And remember, your journey through Spain's architectural treasures doesn't end here. From the grandeur of Granada's Alhambra to the unique Barcelona's Sagrada Familia, many wonders await those who explore. Until next time, happy travels, and may your travels take you to even more inspiring places. Adios.